Okay, welcome everyone. I am Connie Zabo-Schmucker. I'm Advocacy Director of Bicycle Garage Indy, and hopefully you are here for Spotlight on Bicycling. And if you're not, then you're going to hear Spotlight on Bicycling. We are going to be spotlighting the Indiana Interscholastic Cycling League, and Margaret and Mike are here to talk about that. And I'm just going to give a couple of, thank you very much for coming out and hearing about this, and thanks to Margaret and Mike. I'm going to give a couple of little polls so that kind of get an idea of people's interests. And also I want to give a couple of plugs for what else is going on. Our next week's spotlight is going to be on Stone Eater Bike Park up in Lebanon. It's getting developed. It's really exciting. And the 22nd is, so in 2 weeks, is SEPA Foundation. And on March 1st is 913 Sports. So those are all coming up in the next 3 weeks. So we'll have had, by the end of March 1st, we'll have had 5 weeks in a row of Spotlight, which is really cool. On Tuesday mornings, I also host a cycling chats at 8 o'clock in the morning. And tomorrow's topic is tips to keep your bike in shape during the winter so that it's ready for spring riding. And even some tips just in case you are a winter rider, how to keep your bike maintained during the winter. And then next week we have a big event, the sprint cardio intensity workout with the science behind that with Phil Campbell. Normally Phil comes here in person. We're not doing that this year, so we've got a webinar that we're going to be doing with him. I'm really excited about it. We actually have 84 people as of today scheduled to attend, which is more than we've ever had in any year we've done it in person. So that's pretty exciting. And let's see what else. Okay, so I've got some polls that I'm going to do. Let me get those up real quick. Okay, that's not the poll I wanted. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to do, what type of bicycling do you currently do? There's a bunch of answers and you can click all that apply. I'll give you one more second and then I'll end polling. And so the most prevalent are bicycling with family and friends, bicycling alone, and bicycling on paved paths. And then close second is bicycling on roads. And then kind of a mixture of everything else. So that's helpful. And then let's see. Then the next one is, how did you hear about Spotlight on Bicycling? All right, and I'll end the polling. So Bicycle Garage Indy staff, yay, and our newsletter are the top ones, but some people found it elsewhere as well, which is always good. So thank you very much. I think that's all the polls I'm going to do for right now. I think that's all I've got right now, so I will turn it over to Margaret, and I'll mute myself. If you're not muted, please do so while Margaret's speaking so that we don't have too much in the way of background noise.
Thanks, Connie. Really appreciate the introduction. My name is Margaret. Can everyone see my screen? I hope so. Nod your head.
Yes.
My name is Margaret Barawskas. I am the league director of the Indiana Interscholastic Cycling League, which is also known as NICA. We are a league that is part of NICA, which NICA stands for National Interscholastic Cycling Association. And that's the logo here in the bottom right corner. This is a photo of one of our local teams from the Lebanon area, but I'm going to go over some information that's about the league as well as some specific data that I think is very important to share for the state and its growth. And then at the end, if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me through email or ask away on this phone call. So, all right, here we go. So there's a lot of pictures on this screen right now. I just wanted to kind of highlight a lot of the important components of our league. We have a variety of different programming, but our main vision is to improve the lives of Indiana's youth and communities through cycling. It is my job as league director to recruit coaches, but also recruit kids, and also to create fun and safe and inclusive race venues across the state. To get these kids out on bikes and encourage them to continue to ride and race. Cycling is a lifelong sport, and this is something that every kid can do after high school and as they go to college or whatever they pursue in life. But there's a variety of options, whether it is mountain biking or it's riding on the trail on the Monon or going, on the road on their mountain bike. There's a great opportunities out there. So a big part of our program is coaching. There's a handful of coaches that we have met throughout the last year. And I'm going to go specifically into a little bit of details. I won't go over a lot of it, but I'm just going to give you kind of an idea of what coaches get when they sign up for our program, but also some liability specifics. So this is one of our coaches. He's on the Northside Indy team. You might know him. His name is Tim Banks. He has a daughter that's on a team, but he is very, very excited about the new season coming up. So a lot of people wonder, am I insured? Do I have insurance? Coaching with our league gives an opportunity for coaches, one, to become certified in different areas, but also it gives them liability insurance and coverage. A lot of the coaches will complete the specific NICA training that I will help with as they start their journey in the NICA world. Also CPR and first aid. Some will get wilderness first aid. There's concussion training, risk management, and athlete abuse. This is a whole training that's across the whole United States that over every league, each coach has to go through. It's just a requirement that I think is very important to have trained and well-supported coaches across the state. And if you have any specific questions, again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this, but all the coaches do go through at least a background check as well as specific training when it comes to working with student athletes. So just a little bit of data. I know people kind of are curious about that. 2019 was kind of a little bit of a rough start for the Indiana League, but we surpassed our goals and we went from 10 coaches in 2019 to 68. Here are some fun pictures throughout the season of different coaches working with the student athletes or training. But a lot of them are excited to come back, and they all are 100% volunteers. We are youth development. The Indiana League is part of 31 leagues across the whole country. It's very exciting to see the excitement with youth cycling, especially when it comes to youth mountain biking. I remember the first time I went on a mountain bike, and it was terrifying. I lived in Michigan, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I was a roadie. So having a organization such as ours to support and teach and coach these kids how to ride on the trails and be outdoors, I think is something really important to the state. Our league focuses on youth development, also strong mind, strong body, and character through cycling. I mentioned this before, this is a lifelong sport. You can still, after college, after high school, get a bike, go on a ride, and experience the outdoors. And it's just a fantastic opportunity for these kids. It's one of my favorite pictures. It's two girls at the start of a race, and they weren't even nervous. They were laughing and encouraging each other to have a fun and safe race. So that's something really special. More data. I know people may or not want to look at any of this, but I thought it was pretty important to share. In 2019, we had around 25 student athletes in our program. And in 2020, which was last year, we had over 130. That growth was incredible to see, especially during the pandemic. These kids were itching to get outside, and we gave them an incredible opportunity to race. We were one out of 2 leagues across the whole US to host mass start races. Now, granted, we had a pretty low amount of students actually racing. It was a really great number to manage from a race director perspective, but it was just fantastic to see that amount of students racing. So we had 2 races last year, 132 athletes total in the program. And if you take a look at the different areas, we did grow, which is even better. In 2021, this year, we're predicted to double in student athletes. We will be hosting more races, as well as we will have more areas part of our league, which is very exciting. And if you're on the call right now and you're interested in starting a team, I'm happy to answer some questions at the end. I just really hope that we can spread the word about this program. So this is something really important. I think a lot of people don't realize. Like I mentioned before, it is my job to, again, recruit coaches and kids, but it's also to go around the state and find venues for these student athletes. The kids work so hard during the year. They learn how to brake, they learn how to take care of their bikes, they learn how to corner. But then at the end of the season, it's a celebration where we get to race, and they get to have this opportunity to have fun with their friends and teammates, but also put all that knowledge into a final race or 2. We on average host around 4 to 5 events, depending what venues are certified. They are youth only. I know a fair amount of you are probably familiar with Dino or even Indycross. The difference is it is only youth. It is my job to go out to these venues such as Griffin Bike Park, Southwest Way, it could be Brown County, and I have to go through to make sure that these venues are safe for our student athletes, whether it is EMS access, trail accessibility, safe passing, and even parking. So just to be transparent and open, our current certified venues right now is Griffin Bike Park. We have Southwest Way in Indy and Stony Run County Park up in Hebron, Indiana. We are going to certify some more trails. I'm going up to Winona this weekend, and there's about a foot of snow, and my Michigan heart is very, very content because I know that it's going to be a winter wonderland. So if you have a trail that you think that would be part of our race venue, I would love to discuss it. I've only been here in Indiana for a little over 3 years, and I'm always learning something new every day. So please, if you have a venue that you would be interested in talking about, message me or we can talk at the end. I do know that we would like to go further south past Griffin Bike Park. I'm in Terre Haute, and I'm not very familiar with the Evansville area or even further south. So if anyone has connections down there, I would love to talk about that. This is something that Connie mentioned a little bit earlier. I think it's really important to talk about. There is a big call just like ours next week, so please stay tuned. There's a lot more information than that's on the screen right now. I met Kevin Krulik at the Brown County Epic. It was raining and he came up to me and he said, "Hey, I have a piece of land that I want to build a bike park." I said, "Okay, what do what can we do?" So fast forward almost 2 years now, I want to say, maybe a little less. And here is Stone Eater Bike Park. It's in Lebanon, Indiana. It is one of the first NICA, I guess, certified and designed parks to help our races. And what I mean by that is the park is completely designed for our events in mind, whether it's parking, EMS access, the length of the loop, everything. However, the bike park is going to also accommodate cross-country running, a variety of other different races, not just NICA. It's going to bring a lot of great things to Lebanon and the state. So again, this picture is just a piece of what Kevin is working on with the city. And it's an incredible thing to see. So please sign up for next week. It's going to be some great information about the park. A lot of people too, it's not all about racing with the league. There are non-racing options with the league. This is some photos from our last Griffin Bike Park race, and the kids decided to do some tie-dye with the GRIT program. And we want to allow our student athletes, if they don't want to race, they don't have to, but we also give them the opportunity if they want to as well. The Indiana League is also about adventure and community building. This is one of our student athletes in my neck of the woods here in Vigo County. It's about being a kid, being outside, not worrying about their cell phone, even though they most likely will be on their cell phone, but at least they're outdoors and having fun. We have a variety of different programming. One is NICA Adventure, and it just is focused on mountain biking, outdoors, and camaraderie and community. No racing, just outside fun and working on skills. Another big part of our program is our trail components. We are implementing this in the Indiana League this year. One of our coach supporters, Terry Mitchell, is part of it. He is going to hopefully connect our student athletes and teams to the specific trail organization or association that's closest. So it can be from here where I'm in Terre Haute. The kids from the Vigo team go and help out at Griffin Bike Park. It's going to be a great program to add and also teach the kids about the bike advocacy activities that are available. Oh, looks like I drew something on there. I don't know if that's me or not. Another program is called GRIT, Girls Riding Together. We are looking for more female coaches for our league. So if you know any female coaches that would like to participate, we would love to talk to them. We are also looking for more female athletes. The goals for the whole national organization is to grow by 33% by 2023. We have more than just these girls on our league. Just those are just nice pictures. So just want to let everyone know. Here's a big picture. It's pretty incredible to look at all the leagues across the whole United States. A lot of blank spots too. However, Indiana is one of 31. We are very new. However, we are mighty and strong, and we hope to see as many kids as we can on bikes this year. Over 25,000 student athletes. That was last year's data. A little more information I thought I'd share. I mentioned earlier over 25,000 student athletes. It's pretty incredible to see the amount of growth in youth cycling, youth mountain biking. I think the state could use a lot of this opportunity for our student athletes to be a part of a team, part of a league, and camaraderie and sportsmanship. some other information that you can choose to look at or not, but it is beyond the bike. I mentioned before, it is a lifelong sport. A lot of the student athletes as well as coaches bring their family in, bring their friends in, and get them involved somehow, whether it's taking photos at the races, encouraging their student athletes to ride after practice, or even just coming to support at races and volunteering. We build community, and that's what the Indiana League is going to do. And across the whole United States, these are some really impactful numbers to see. I'm gonna play a video, and I hope the sound works. So this was a little bit of a snapshot from a drone footage of our race at Southwest Way Park in Indianapolis. Our friend that put the video together really likes hardcore rock and roll. So if your volume's up really high, I'm sorry if it hurts your ears. So, okay, here we go. Maybe I should turn my volume down too. So that's a little snapshot of what, oops, sorry, it's starting again, of what our races look like. The Indiana League has race equipment. I have a 24-foot trailer that's located at a warehouse, and we have all the supplies. We set up, we put on an event for our student athletes. That's part of the fees. And we do host around 4 to 5 events a year. So I hope it doesn't play again. Okay. So how can you help? You're probably wondering, why am I, what can I do? We need coaches. We are hoping to double in numbers with student athletes. It's incredible. However, we need coaches. So if you are interested in that, please, please, please reach out. My email's on the next slide, or contact Connie. This is one of Mike's student athletes from the Northside Indy team. We need help. We predict lots of kids. Join our mailing list is something too you could do. Volunteer at our races. I am almost ready to announce our 4 races. I'm waiting on 1 more. I have to get a permit. Donate to the league if that's something that you'd like to do. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. See all the fun pictures and information that we post on there. But again, if you just want to chit chat about the league or how you have some input on something, please do. We'd love all the help that we can get. So with that being said, my contact info is there up in the corner. Please don't hesitate, or please reach out if you have any questions or concerns. But I'll open up the discussion, unless Mike, you have anything to say, or Lynn, happy to not talk.
Thanks, Margaret. I can jump in here, and I'll try to keep it short. I get excited about our league and all the things going on for kids and bikes. But first, I wanted to say, for everybody on the call, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I think in most of our lives, Mondays anymore seem to be, whether you're working from home or working at your place of employment, Mondays seem to fill up with meetings. So I really appreciate everybody taking time on a busy Monday to come and join us at 7 p.m. after a long day. Really just 2 points I wanted to add or expand on from what Margaret said. If you're thinking about being a coach, but thinking I haven't coached kids sports before, or I'm an amateur bicyclist, or want to let you know there's no experience necessary. And that's true for coaches as well as student athletes in our league. Everybody goes through the same training to become a NICA coach in our league. And there's really 3 levels of training. And you can honestly just if you have enthusiasm and absolutely no coaching or biking experience, you can become a coach and be trained in our league. Same thing goes for kids. We've had the team, the local Northside Indy team I help with. We had some kids on our team who were incredibly fast, experienced cyclists. We had a couple of kids on a few kids on our team who had never raced a bike before. They had a bike in their garage and they wanted to try it out, and they were able to, we were able to get them trained and get them in their first races. And then the second point I'd make really is one of NICA's goals and one of our league's goals is to not just create student racers, but create lifelong cyclists. So we are happy to have cyclists at any level to join our league and become lifelong cyclists. And, along with that point, NICA has a lot of research showing that once a kid becomes involved in a NICA league, there's a 70 to 80% chance that other people in that same family, parents or siblings, will start biking when they had never biked before.
Thanks, Mike. That's great. And if anyone has questions, and I'm happy to go back to a slide if that's something somebody would want. I see in the chat there are some questions. I don't know if people are answering them. Yeah, let's see if I can get to there.
Yeah, you also have a couple of volunteers, looks like.
Yeah.
So
a typical weekend for our events is usually I roll up with the trailer on Friday. I pre-mark some of the important things for the races. And then Saturday is setup. We need a lot of people coming in to help set up. In this picture is a great example. We have that snow fencing. We have specific contracts with our different sponsorships and partnerships. And it makes the race incredible for the kids. I've been through a couple races, maybe not as many as some people, but when I come through that finish line, it's incredible. To see that Shimano snow fencing lined up, the SRAM, the banner, the arch, everything, you name it, it makes this race this incredible moment in these student athletes' lives. And to think too, and I'm still pretty young, I would have loved to have this as a kid, to be able to be part of a mountain bike team. How crazy is that? So Saturday, usually you show up, if you can, help us set up. I'm usually running around with a walkie-talkie trying to get equipment out of the trailer. The kids show up around 11, 12 o'clock. They register, they sign in, they set up their tents. Then pre-ride happens and the kids go out on Saturday to pre-ride. And then Sunday is the big old race. And we are usually starting around 9 o'clock and usually out by around 4 o'clock that afternoon. Now with more kids, we might need more waves. And with COVID, we do have to spread the waves out a little bit more to space the kids out. However, with our numbers and what we predict, we should be pretty on schedule when it comes to the wave times. So if anyone has more questions about a weekend, I don't want to announce the venues yet. I mean, I could announce 3 out of the 4, but Stony Run up in Hebron, Southwest Way is a go, and then Griffin Bike Park, which is another exciting thing. There are other venues that I do plan on surveying. I am going up to Winona this weekend. I want to take a look at Brown County again. I know that Paul Arlinghouse said that there's a new trail for Lime Kiln that's going to connect, as well as there's a variety of other trails that are just in the back of our minds to take a look at. So again, if you have any input on trails further south of Griffin Bike Park, please let me know. We have individuals that would like to go further south.
Hey, this is Lynn. I see Dean Peterson's on the call, so I wanted to say hi, Dean. And I remember when we were first having founding member meetings to get this all started.
Let's see what picture.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, right here at this table, Lynn, we had those meetings.
Yes, thank you for all of your support over the years.
For sure. Still want to see how we could, I'm just real quickly, I just wanted to say, there seems to me to be somehow that students could get more connected. We just haven't done that very well. So I don't, if we all put our heads together though, I think we could probably especially get a couple of young women involved in whatever capacity. So we should, we've talked about this. It's just not really gone anywhere, partially on our end, but COVID also kind of slowed us down. So I think though it's something we should revisit. So
have
maybe we can talk
A
after.
Marion alumni on Mike's team, Lucas, right?
We have Lucas.
Jurgle?
Yeah, he's an assistant coach, and he's been. We had a preseason meeting of just coaches a couple of weeks ago, and we put the pressure on Lucas to come up with some female, either current or former Marion riders, and he's been in touch with a couple. He said they were both in that phase of life where they were waiting to hear about job.
Yeah.
They were both in the job search right now. But Dean, I appreciate you volunteering. I think I love your support of our league, and I love the idea of getting more people, more Marion riders, current riders involved. I know sometimes our season from late August to late October sometimes interferes with some of the cycling disciplines. But I think that, like you said, there's obviously opportunity there. Females would be fantastic because we're trying to recruit more female riders and coaches. But also, even if we have people who maybe they can't attend our races based on school and their own racing obligations, but they could be involved. Our practice season starts July 1st. So maybe they can help out with teams in a way, knowing that in advance that on certain weekends they wouldn't be available, but could still be a great resource.
I think so too. And I think it'd be great for the people on our end that are doing it to have that kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
we'll
thank
keep
you.
trying. But I think at another time we should probably all powwow on a call or something and make a plan. And maybe at that point we can also have a student or two come in and be part of that call.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. And I think I can speak for at least some of the Central Indiana folks on the call. Like Lynn and I think we'd be happy to meet in person too and have sort of a combination live and call for people remote. And not everybody's comfortable getting together, but we'd be more than happy to meet on campus there or at the Cycleplex.
Yep, that'd be good.
Yeah, Margaret.
Awesome job. It's cool to see what y'all are doing. It's happened fast.
Thank
I have
you.
one more thing to share.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I forgot. Speaking of the Indy Cycleplex.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Ta-da! Ignore all I don't have that many tabs open today. It's a good day. If you are interested in coaching and you want more specific information and to get some training, March 13th and 14th at the Indy Cycleplex, we have our coach summit. I'll be there. A bunch of leadership will be there. Some returning coaches will be there. I feed you. Unfortunately, I can't pay for lodging, but I will feed you. Lots of great information, lots of fun discussions. We talk a lot about insurance as well as kind of the logistics of starting a team or how to even coach or form a practice. And if you have no experience with coaching or even mountain biking and you're like, I want to do this, this is the thing you want to go to because we'll have trainers from my national organization coming in that will help and educate all of us. So, and we get to ride our bikes too. So check that out on Facebook. There is a small fee, but you get a swag bag. I give you some stuff that kind of covers that. But check it out.
Yeah, if you have gotten a BGI email in the past month or so, we had direct links to that as well. So,
anyone else have any other questions? I'm an open book, very transparent. If you're ever in Terre Haute, you're welcome to email me and I'll take you to Griffin Bike Park if it's not sloppy and mushy.
Margaret, you mentioned on for setup. What were the times for the Saturday setup?
Usually it's around 9 a.m. When it comes race season, I will send out a variety of different race reminders and it'll have a schedule on it of the exact details of what's happening that weekend. But typically it's around 9 a.m. And then typically on Sunday, we need people out on course. If I don't have enough volunteers, I can't run a race. And this is just for safety for the kids. I have radios to course marshals, to you name it, out on course to communicate if a kid goes down or if a volunteer goes down. Safety is our number one priority when it comes to anything with the kids. in the racing and practices. So I think that
With
answered.
with a group of guys, and we're literally about 3 miles from Southwest Way Park. So
Ooh, very
Okay.
we
cool.
can get that group together and give you guys some help. Jim Keefe is
Absolutely.
also on the call here, and he's part of the clan too. So
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah. Southwest Way was a very great moment, I think, in the Indiana League's story. Canceling our first year is something we think about, but having that first race at Southwest Way, it was an incredible, beautiful day for fall Indiana, and sunshine, and the kids had fun, and it was wonderful to see all of our equipment out and the kids smiling. So yeah, Mark, that'd be fantastic.
what kind of help do you need on that Friday? Is that in a morning also, or is that afternoon? Or
It's around 12 o'clock. I usually get the trailer there around 12 or 1 o'clock. A lot of it is pre-marking. So I'm happy to, if you ever want to go into more detail about this, but we have all the equipment. And on Fridays, I get cans of spray chalk, and we have ropes that are specifically marked for our different pins and poles that go into the ground to hold up our snow fencing, to our step-ins, to everything. They're measured out. So what we do is we just show up, we spray chalk, and then on Saturday, we send all the volunteers out and say, on these dots, put in this and that. So that way they're not all coming to me, they're not all coming to Mike, they're not coming to Lynn and saying, what am I doing with all this stuff? It's just a well-organized situation. So to answer your question, it's usually around noon. You're welcome to come hang out with us. It's really fun to educate other people about how we put on races. I've trained now at 2 or 3 leagues on how to do this. And I do have to say it takes a little bit more time, but it's well worth it in the end.
how many volunteers do you need for the Saturday setup?
Yeah, that's a great question. Usually around 40 to 45. The snow fencing is probably the most difficult because you need multiple people to pull it tight and make sure that we use the right amount of reusable zip ties that we have. We also need help with people going out on course and marking as well. So we have a chief course marshal that's on my staff that would then direct the volunteers with backpacks full of different stakes to hammers to extra tape to mark things off. And then they all go out and pre-mark. And then we have myself and a couple other people go out and certify it, making sure that kids can see the signs. We make sure that they know where they're going and they don't go down the wrong trail, because we know Southwest Way has lots of intersecting trails.
Yep.
That's part of the process. So some crew goes out to help set up the infield, the start and finish line, and then some go out at the exact same time to set up the course. So that way, all at noon, all 11 o'clock, when the kids all show up, they can go out and do what they do best, ride the
And then on
bikes.
Sunday, how many volunteers do you need?
Typically it's around 30,
Okay.
30-ish, 35. Usually if I run into an issue where we don't have enough, I look at the parents and I say, okay, which one of you is going to go out there? And usually we figure it out. We've found that we've had probably too many volunteers, which is a good thing. But specifically at Southwest Way versus Griffin, I don't know if you've been on the new trail loop at Griffin, but Southwest Way, we needed more people out on course because of all the different intersection, and the different turns. Griffin was a little bit different, where it was more of a wider trail and a loop specifically designed for our race in mind.
Okay, great. Thanks for the info. That helps me out how many people to recruit. So
Yeah,
great.
well, thank you. It's really incredible to see. I know that video didn't really do as much justice, but I've been to Texas and Wisconsin now. In Wisconsin, I saw around 1,500 student athletes race. I think I had an emotional reaction when I saw about 3 or 4 waves of middle school girls go off. 30 or 40 in a wave of middle school girls. Texas was a little bit different, a lot of boys, but it was also just this incredible experience to see how leagues run and how leagues are different. And to see the Indiana League finally do it was I think Lynn and I and Mike were like, oh my gosh, we did it. I think we still do it probably secretly. So, well, that's all I got, unless anyone has any other questions. As you can tell, I'm a chatterbox. Not that anyone knew that already. As my class. I don't think I've missed anything. Did I miss anything, Mike or Lynn? I don't think so.
Margaret,
Nope.
you mentioned this, you didn't miss it, but I just wanted to reemphasize for everybody on the call. Unlike some middle school and high school sports, our league nationally and in Indiana is designed that every kid who wants to race can race. And every kid who wants to be on a team, even if they don't want to race, they can join the team and then they're not required to race. But everybody who wants to race can race. There's no tryouts, there's no cuts. You can come out and be a part of the team.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a picture of Kenneth. Maybe I do. Kenneth was a student on Mike's team, and I met him for the first time at Griffin Bike Park. They came out, and Kenneth could not ride a straight line, but he was enthusiastic and excited about just being with a team. And when he crossed the finish line at Griffin Bike Park, he came in and he just had this face of just extreme excitement. And he looked at me and he was about to scream at the top of his lungs because he was so excited. But he looked at me, he said, "Can I do it again?" And I said, "Well, not today, maybe next year we'll But Kenneth is a great example of just somebody who grew tremendously, not just on the bike, but, in life. I don't know if I can find a picture of him, but.
Yeah, Kenneth was great. And you reminded me of one other thing about our league and our teams, Margaret. Kenneth came to practice and he had a bike that was probably 3 sizes too small for him. But after a couple of practices, one of our coaches, who's also a parent of somebody on our team, brought him a bike to use for the season. I mean, it was a bike that I would have killed for a few years ago, a very nice Trek mountain bike, and kind of said, "Here, take this, use it for the whole season, get some use out of it, and we'd love to see you improve."
There he is. There's Kenneth. So determined. So, and that's just one story out of, gosh, how many we have. Just to see these kids part of a community, I think is the biggest thing that I could definitely say. And we've had discussions with people that are part of other organizations, and the main thing we talk about is how we're building community. We're bringing people into a community to show them what we can do, as well as what we're doing with our youth development program. And we just hope to keep growing. More kids on bikes, right? Say it about every day, 20 times a day.
Margaret, there's a question. Are the coaches, is the coach's certificate the same as the USA cycling certification?
It is not. Ours is completely separate. However, the USA Cycling, as well as like the, BICP, is that correct? I can't remember the actual acronym. Those do count towards continuing education credits that are required for our coaches in NICA. And the reason why it is separate is NICA wanted it across the whole United States the same, especially with background checks too. A lot of teachers are part of our program, and they say, "Well, I'm already background checked for the schools. Can I just use that?" And the answer would be is, we want it to be the same across the entire country. I'm looking at questions.
So what are the leagues the teams that currently exist
Sure.
in Indiana?
I'll go up here. Where'd it go? I just pulled this up right now so I can reference it. All right, I'm a little challenged. Go. So we have right now 8 registered teams. We unfortunately did lose one, but that's a discussion for a different day. So ignore that 9. But right now we have the region, which is kind of up near Cherville. She kind of covers a really big area. Vigo County, which is where I'm located. My husband is the team director. Martinsville, Zionsville, where Lynn is helping out there. Brown County has a team. Hamilton County, where do I wrote that?
Yeah, that's the north side
That's
Indy.
north
Oh,
side.
that's you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
See, still not a Hoosier yet. I'm still Michigan. No. Okay, Hamilton County, which is Northside Indy, which is Carmel, Noblesville. You guys are Indy, you know what I'm talking about. Fort Wayne, we have Maple Creek Middle School, which is our largest middle school team. We have a lot of middle schoolers in our league, and Lebanon has a team. We are adding South Bend. The owner of the Trek store, Granger, is joining, as well as Hendricks County, so Avon, Plainfield. There potentially is what I was told, a West Side team or a composite team.
Yeah, the other question I had, did people need to be, or does the students, is it a school-based team or is it more of a regional-based team?
Nope, it can be honestly either. A lot of school people that we've talked to about it, they always ask, well, I don't want to be part of it, or what about the insurance? You can have the team or the school name. For example, my husband's team here, Vigo County, or Vigo County, however people pronounce it. But we are a county team, a composite team that covers Brazil, Farmersburg, Sullivan, parts of Illinois. It could be an hour radius from here. It allows more students to have access to the team if there's a team not near them. And the schools at first did not communicate with us, but now we are in the process of potentially making it a varsity letter sport. So it can go either way. Maple Creek Middle School up in Fort Wayne is a school-based sport because the team director is the principal of the middle school. So depending on who you know or what you want to pursue and depending on the school, it can be a school-based. Pike Township was going to have one and it was a school-based team, but it turned out it did not work out after COVID with everything logistics-wise. But a lot of our teams right now are composite teams.
One thing to add there, many teams start as composite teams, and then if they get to a certain number of students from a single school, they can branch off, and there can be a composite team, and then there can be a school team. Say that there could be a Hamilton County team, and then if enough kids are from a certain high school, you would have a Fishers High School team. But they can all still train together and practice together. It's just a matter of, and even they can share coaches. It's just a matter of on race day, they would put on different jerseys. There'd be, say, 20 kids for composite and 10 kids Fishers High School jerseys, but they'd still train and share coaching and share experiences all through the season.
Absolutely.
Cool. The other thing that I just we talked about it before people got on the meeting, was the new Trek, is it Pathfinders scholarships?
Yeah.
So it literally just came out, yesterday or last week? But there are nationwide going to be 250 scholarships for NICA League members to try and address diversity to underserved populations. And they would get, if they're chosen, from what I read, they get their league fees paid and equipment, including a bike and a helmet, and I'm not sure what else. We'll have something more about that, or at least links to Trek's page in our upcoming newsletter that we'll be putting out a couple weeks once I get a little bit more information. And I'm sure Margaret will want to get more information before that happens, so that if people are interested or know of some deserving people who would want to be involved with a NICA league and don't have the resources to do it, because they'll want you to want that student to connect with the league that's in their area. So that's an really exciting development as well. So we're excited about that.
Yeah. Trek is a big sponsor and partner with the whole national organization, as well as new leagues. The Indiana League will hope to offer scholarship programs as soon as we can, depending on funding and what we can provide. And we will announce social media, newsletter, and application form where students and families can fill out and ask for a percentage or something to help. So to talk about it, there are fees involved with our league, and the fees do go back towards the league as well, to take care of race equipment, race things that need to happen during race day, and to help the league to work. A big portion, I think a lot don't 100% know is when it comes to a race, we have to have EMS there. I am required to have a certain type of EMS at the race. I mean, that's just for safety. And a lot of organizations might have an EMS vehicle just sitting there if they get lucky. But I am paying and required to have it for the entire time the race is going on. And that's in case something happens. If a volunteer goes down or a student athlete, we have immediate access to somebody that can take care of them. Another part is all the race equipment to everything that's going on that race weekend is the league's responsibility. And that's what our fees help with.
Yeah, and thank you, Connie and Margaret. I just wanted to follow up and expand along with that fantastic Trek Pathfinders program. That's awesome, and it's coming from Trek, and it's nationwide, so it's going to be well done and well funded. I wanted to let everyone know that at a smaller level, our league here in Indiana, and also most of our teams, are actively trying to raise funds so that we can provide student fees and wherever possible, even loaner bikes to students. So we want to make sure, as soon as we can, we want to make sure that cost is not a barrier to kids who may be interested in joining the league and anywhere in the state.
Thanks, Mike. That's really good information. I'm gonna check chat one more time. I can't do it. I'll stop sharing my screen. Well, I think that's all I have. Everyone saw my email at the end, or you already have my email. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, check our website out, join our newsletter, or just email me and I'll add you to the list. We send a lot of great information out, as well as we have coach calls, like a coach call is going on right now, where we talk about the ins and outs of coaching and what needs to happen. So thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you, Connie and BGI for doing this for us and everything else you do for us, and the biking community.
Well, thank you very much. It's been I was talking earlier, I've had a crash course in Zoom the last couple of weeks. And
You're doing fine.
Learning a lot, yeah. But the reason why we're doing the spotlight on bicycling, I didn't mention this earlier, is previous years, for many years, we've done a bikes and beer night where we've had organizations come and we've done some fundraising and more awareness raising. A really fun evening. Well, obviously we can't do that, and I wanted to somehow recreate that. And so I came up with this idea of having these spotlights on bicycling. And I'm really excited that it's worked out really well. We've had some really good discussions in the first two we've done. We've got 3 more scheduled so far. And I'll probably continue doing them as long as we have enough topics to do. May take a break in the summer. I'm not sure, but we'll see. There's probably a lot more stuff that will be happening later in the year as well. Right now I'm focusing on the organizations, but as people have events or people have other things that are going on, who knows, maybe we'll have ribbon cuttings of the Monon Bridge or something that we can talk about. So there's all sorts of different things that we could potentially spotlight. So thank you very much for your support and attending and being part of this. And we will see people next week.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone.
Take care.
Good evening.